Hello and welcome to BrittsBooks. It is Booktube Tuesday again, and today I decided to undergo the task of a bookshelf tour. Yes, I'm kind of scared. So, I thought I was going through some other bookshelf tour videos, and I was like, oh my goodness, their bookshelves are also organized. So, I'm about to go organize my bookshelves, because they're a disaster and they've been bugging me forever anyway. So this is just to show you the before and after, and then afterwards I'll explain how I organized them and how I wanted them to be organized, and then go through my books. So I hope you guys enjoy. Here we go! Alright, so this is the bookshelf in my living room, and it is the one with most of my most recent read books. I see it the most often, so I keep some of my TBR on here and a lot of my books that I've read recently. This is not a bookshelf at all. This is my TBR list. So all you see right here is all my TBR. Like these books are from the library. Some of these books over here are borrowed from a guy at work. This one is borrowed from my sister, and there's a whole stack behind this. They're double stacked on both sides of my TBR. So that is my biggest pet peeve right now, and that's why I'm organizing my bookshelves. Don't swear. That shelf my boyfriend was playing video games behind, so I didn't want to take too long of a video because he likes to swear while he's playing video games. That one is in the spare room. It's a lot of my textbooks from university and a lot of like my older books, like from childhood and Nicholas Sparks from a few summers ago. So here we have bookshelf number 1 of 2. This is all books I have read. And on this shelf, this is double stacked all the way back. In the back, it's mostly Nicholas Sparks and other fluffy little books like that. Along here, I have Stephen King, Under the Dome, C.S. Lewis, The Chronicles of Narnia. That's all of the Narnia books within one big book. Stephen King, Dr. Sleep, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, The Silver Wing Saga by Kenneth Opel, which Respectable Trade by Flipper Gregory. Let's see. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. I just read this for the 2014 Booktubeathon. Midwives by Solar by Ian McEwan. The Help, which is one of my favorite books ever. Love Anthony by Lisa Genova, which is also one of my favorites. Fight Club, or Survivor, Fight Club, Invisible Monsters, and Choke, all by Chuck Palahniuk. Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, which was an awesome dystopian. Mystic River by Dennis Lehane. Stephen King, Pet Sematary, Stephen King, Cujo, that sense of theme here. The Lovely Bones, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, 2 more Narnia books, which were just the regular copies, Living Dolls, and Bitch, which are both feminist books. And down on this shelf, we have some childhood bedtime story collections, which are from my childhood, and they're really nice and big and awesome, so I kept them. A yoga book, which is kind of random, but interesting. The Lenses of Gender by Sandra Bem. I talked about this a lot in a couple of my classes, and I saw it at my mom's old bookstore, so I took it from her. Gloria Steinem, Moving Beyond Words, which is another feminist book. The Domestic Assault of Women. I think this is a textbook. The 100 Years of Psychology. So these are more educational, I guess. Scarlet, which is apparently a sequel to Gone with the Wind, but it's not by the same author. This is just more child stories. Alex Haley Roots, which is another one of my all-time favorites. Equality Illusion by Kat Banyard. A Million Little Pieces. Where the Heart Is. Beastly, Sex and the City, Black Like Me by John Howard Griffin, which was an awesome read, and it was really quick. Warhorse, Margaret Atwood, another copy of The Handmaid's Tale. I don't know how I have two. Autobiography of Malcolm X, and The Taming of the Shrew by Shakespeare. And these are mostly just textbooks. These are all textbooks. Okay, so this one is my favorite bookshelf. This is my to-be-read bookshelf. And I just organized it, so most of my to-be-read books are now on this bookshelf, on the one bookshelf. So whenever I look at it, I can be like, these are all the books you need to read! So, I'm so excited to do this. Okay, this is my TBR bookshelf. So there is 4 shelves within this. I tried to kind of organize this as I went. It didn't work really well because I was bringing books back and forth between rooms and adding things places, and I was just really excited. So the top is, or I tried to make it, there we go, books I've borrowed from people or the library or something like that, so that I have them all together, I know where they are, and these will be moving on eventually, and I can make room for other books. So that's how, excuse me, I kind of thought of that one. And I was going to make just this one my classic shelf, and then I was like, oh dear, I have a lot more classics than I thought I did to read. So, this whole shelf is classic, and then from here down is also classic. And then the bottom shelf I just kind of made random. Okay, so welcome to my top shelf. This is I have borrowed these books. I'm going to try not to shake too much, but I can't make any promises because I'm holding my camera. So here we have, on this end, library books. I have currently, from the library, Stephen King, 11/22, I want to say 63. It's about the JFK assassination, and that's all I really know about it. I've heard it's really good, and it's Stephen King, so I'm willing to give it a try. I have Mortal Fear by Greg Iles. I think it's about a murder. I read the inside when I took it out from the library and was super pumped about it, so there's an obvious reason. Chuck Palahniuk, Pygmy. I've heard this one's really good as well. I haven't really heard exactly what it's about, but that's okay. And I have Rant by Chuck Palahniuk in here too. I've already read that one, but I wanted to keep it with the other library books. From Alex from work, I have The Old Man and the Sea by Hemingway. Trainspotting by Irvine Welsh. Also haven't heard much about that. Heard it's good from everyone who's read it. I'm willing to read it. Stephen King, Desperation. This one is the Bachman Books. It's 4 early novels by Stephen King. I have Stephen King, Wolves of the Kala. I think it's Dark Tower series book number 5. And right beside it is Wizard in Glass, which is Dark series book number 4. I found this one at Valley Village and this one at a secondhand bookstore in PEI this week. So I'm pretty pumped about those because I have only read up to the 3rd and there are 7. So I'm excited. Stephen King, Christine, which is about a car. Stephen King on Writing. It's a memoir-ish type book all about the process of writing. Stephen King, Skeleton Crew, which, if I remember correctly, is short stories, but don't quote me on that. Stephen King, The Dark Half. Stephen King, Insomnia. Let's sense another little theme happening. Stephen King, Nightmares and Dreamscapes, which is, I also believe, short stories. Stephen King, 4 Past Midnight over here. I also found these at Valley Village, which are amazing deals because they were like $4 each. Just saying. Okay. 4 Past Midnight. Stephen King, Dreamcatcher, and The Regulators by Richard Bachman, which, like I said, is Stephen King and his alias, Elias. How do you say that word? And I also have Stephen King, Firestarter, hiding up here. And then I have The Outlander, by Diana Gabaldon. I've heard from my cousin and my sister that that's amazing, and I've heard from a lot of people that it's amazing, so I need to read it. And thankfully my sister gave me that copy. Or lent me that copy. I should probably check that with her. So down here, this is all just classics. I'm just going to skim over these ones. These are all Jane Austen. So we have Emma, Pride and Prejudice, another copy of Emma, Persuasion, Mansfield Park, Sense and Sensibility, and another Sense and Sensibility up here. Northanger Abbey, and then over here we have the Bronte sisters. So we have Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne, The Professor by Charlotte, and Wuthering Heights by Emily. I also have Women in Love by D.H. Lawrence, The Duchess. This is a biography, I believe I read. And then we have a biography of Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf, To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, The Years by Virginia Woolf, Portrait of a Lady by Henry James, Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence, Madame Bovary, A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington, Black Boy by Richard White, The Naked Ape by Desmond Morris, Nigger by Dick Gregory, Uncle Tom's Cabin, and another Uncle Tom's Cabin. So that's another theme over here, shall we? We have, of all things, a book called Guide to Getting It On. Intimate Relationships, just old textbooks that I found at secondhand stores for cheap. So, Close Relationships, Take That for the Night. A Beautiful Mind, which is a biography, I believe. Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan. Victor Hugo Les Mis. Middlemarch by George Eliot. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Great Expectations. Sexual Politics by Kate Millett. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, of all things. Crime and Punishment, and there's no way I am pronouncing his name, so that's not happening. And The Call of the Wild and White Fang by Jack London. Age by Betty Friedan. Nicholas Evans' The Divide, he wrote The Horse Whisperer. I have The Hanging of Angelique by F.Y. Cooper. Jeffrey Eugenides' Middlesex. I have the Bible because that is on my TBR, surprisingly, maybe. I just think it would be pretty cool. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit right beside each other. The Hobbit's kind of hiding. Another copy of Wuthering Heights. Saddled by Susan Richards. Anne of Green Gables. Mad, Bad, and Sad. This is about, it's a history of women and the mind doctors from 1800 to the present, because I'm a giant nerd and I got really excited when I saw that at my bookstore. The Book of Awesome, which the complete short stories of Mark Twain. I bought this at the secondhand store in PEI when I bought Wolves of the Kala by Stephen King. I have The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood, and Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I also have A Clash of Kings down here. My boyfriend has the whole series in our room, but I had 2 of my own copies before we started dating. Oh, jeez. So I just put them on here. The Da Vinci Code, and then 3 Negro classics, which are Up from Slavery, which I have a copy of, The Souls of Black Folk, and the autobiography of an ex-colored man. Mess. Those are all books I borrowed from my sister, so I want to keep them together so I know where they are, because I'm terrible with losing things. I'm not going to go through those because it is getting to be a super long video, and that was a lot of effort. Surprisingly, I didn't think it would be that bad to make this. So that was a super long video. Thank you for sticking around to the end, if you did stick around to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed and got a better idea of what I read, what I'm interested in, how my tastes have changed since the Nicholas Sparks and other books like that in my have read pile to my to be read pile. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Please comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye!